be going over a single linked list. It's going to be divided in a couple of parts. I don't know how many parts yet, but let's jump into it. Okay, so first we're going to make our singly linked list, right? And then we're going to make our list node, which is where the data and the next is going to be stored. So usually you want to have private, but we're going to be doing public just to make things easier. So it's going to be a public int data. This is usually generic. And then we're going to have a list node instance of next, which is just null. And then we're going to create our constructor. So public list node. And then in here, we're going to have a int data, but we're not going to have a next. So this data is going to be equal the data, right? And then this next is going to be equal null. This is very important. And then, right, so we're going to go ahead and get this going. So we're going to have a list node equals head, right? Right now it's pointing to null. So we're going to have our PSVM. And in here, we're going to have a single linked list like this. This is how we're going to create the chain, basically. And then we're going to have a list node, and it's going to be our first node equals new list node. And remember how we had a data in the parameter, but we didn't have a next. That's why we did that. So let's go ahead and do like 23, and then list node second node equals a new list node, and then let's do 7, and then list node equals third node, and we're gonna end it here. New list node, and then let's just do 69, right? So what we have to do first is we're gonna have to link this list into the first node, then to the second, then to the third, right? So how that's gonna happen is list head, because remember head right now is basically doing this head pointing to null. So that's why we don't have to do head next. So we do list head equals the first node. So we're gonna pick up on that 23. And then the first node next is going to equal the second node. And then can you guess what happens next? Second node next equals the third node. So that's how it's going to be. So pretty much it's going to look like this for now. It's gonna be this, right? And then this is going to be, and then like this, and then this is going to be like this, right? And then finally we're going to be pointing to null. All right, so it's not going to work if you run it. We're going to have to create a function or method, however you want to call it, and then we're going to do public void. We're just going to call it display, and we're not going to have anything in the parameters. We're going to go ahead and do list node. This is basically a dummy. Some people call it dummy, some people call it tem, and then mostly it's used as, oh shit, current, right? Mostly used as current. So while current does not equal null, we're gonna do the following. And what I like to do first is it's gonna be current equals current next. So the current next is gonna be the new current and the new current until we hit null, right? We're gonna go ahead and system print, and then we're gonna do current equals data plus, just so that we can have a nice visual, and then we're gonna exit out with a a, a print saying null. And then all we have to do now is we just do a list, and then what did we call it? Call it display. And then it's like this because remember we didn't do any parameters, so that's why we can just call it like that. And then this should hopefully work. And there you go. We have 23 linking to 7, linking to 69, and finally we have a null. So yeah, you can pretty much see the pattern here. Look. So yeah, it's really important to first create the link. This is gonna create the link, and then the following is just the list nodes or like the chain, you know? So this is where we're gonna end it, and then we'll work on some other methods or functions in part 2.